Book 1, Chapter 14, Support. I cannot wait for recess. I haven't talked to Charles or Max in a few days, and so much has happened. The bell rings and I grab a snack from my lunch. My mom has placed a banana in my lunch, and now everything smells like a banana. I much prefer to eat bananas at home, but she insists and goes on about nutrition. I decide to eat the banana as my snack just to remove it from my lunch. I go outside and Charles is sitting in his usual place watching all the others. He always has a very distinct look about him. As he sits quietly, his expression seldom changes. I'm not sure that if a spaceship came down and took everyone away, he would even react. He will make a great author, and I am sure his book will be a bestseller because he sure knows how to see people in a light they don't truly see themselves. "Charles!" I shout as I walk up to him. Charles, with deep concentration, looks towards me, but does not smile. I just know something isn't right. I sit down and ask if he wants to share my banana. Not an easy thing to share. He declines my offer and says, "I will never refuse one of your mom's cookies." We both laugh, and I let him know that I have asked my mom to bake chocolate chip cookies for the big bake sale. He shrugs his shoulders and looks away. I ask, "Charles, is everything okay?" He turns away, yet still looking at the ground. "Charles?" I ask in a caring tone. He says, "Finn, you wouldn't understand. You have a perfect family. You have a mom who bakes cookies and a dad who builds a doghouse, and Finn, I just don't have that." I sit quietly and I ponder. I understand what he is sharing. I know that I am blessed with a wonderful family. It's not perfect. In fact, it's far from perfect. But it is wonderful. I say, "Charles, you can come over any time to see Skye and to visit with my mom and dad." He replies, "Thank you, Finn, but it's just not the same." He looks disheartened with his existence, and I can sense that he is in need of a perfect gift. What can I share that will be a gift today? Then I hear the gentle voice. "Let him know that you are always there for him." "Charles," I whisper, "I will always be here for you." Charles looks at me with sadness and bewilderment. "Ah, Finn, thank you. Finn, I'm not allowed to continue at the shelter. My mom says that I should be helping at home, not at another place." "Oh," I say in a quiet tone. "I'm sorry, Charles. I know how much you love going there." "Well, Finn, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone at all, so I thank you for taking me that one time." I tell him the old dog that took a liking to him has found a great home. He has gone to a home that had been wanting an older dog. The gentleman who adopted him said that he too has been feeling old and in need of company. Together they could be young at heart. Charles gazes at me. "Finn, that's a really nice story. I will remember the old dog, and I will remember to write about the man and the dog in my book." Charles continues to say that he doesn't enjoy the chores at his home. He wants to have all things different. He also knows that he is thankful to have his family, even if they don't understand him. I jokingly say, "Does anyone understand you?" as I nudge him with my elbow. "I haven't met one person yet, well, other than you. But what does that say about you?" And he gives me a push with his elbow in return. We both start laughing, and we know that our friendship will last until we are very old. Back in the classroom, it is time for the weekly spelling bee. I don't do well with spelling, but I am trying. There are 2 people in the class that spell very well. It always ends up to be a competition between the 2. It's like watching a show over and over each week. You know the ending, but you still watch. Max is also good at spelling, but he has yet to win against these other 2. 2 teams are lined up. With each word misspelled, the teams get smaller until the only two left are the brainy ones. Sometimes I just want to misspell a word to sit down. I also know not to do that because we are graded on how long we can stay standing. To no surprise, it ends in a tie, and the last word is given to find the winner. Each stands with great confidence, and I can see that Charles is watching and taking it all in. I bet the spelling bee will also be in his book. Sure enough, it is a tie, still after 8 words. It is exciting and boring at the same time. I think even my teacher wants it to end. Finally, my teacher declares a tie and that there will be no tiebreaker today because we are clearly out of time. The two stand with pride. The class claps, but I think most are clapping because it is over. Next, we discuss the day of love, and we are each given a role. I am paired up with Charles. We are excited. Max is with Jacob, and I know the teacher has done his best to put ones together that already share a friendship. He must understand that sometimes being with someone that you have little in common with isn't as fun. Well, not for an event like this. We are to put together exactly what we will do for the day in writing. Part of the mark is putting together the information. We go to our groups. The room is buzzing with ideas between the little teams. Most teams have 2, but there are some that have 3. Since it is just Charles and I, we sit at his desk away from the others so we can concentrate on the project. We both want a really good grade. We are taking it seriously. What are we going to do at our table? I asked Charles. He says, well, I was thinking, what if we play a game like they have at the fair? Throwing a ball into a basket, or we can get those plastic bowling pins and people can try knocking them over. He continues, I've seen a game with empty bottles. The game I saw used glassed cola bottles, and each person tosses a plastic ring. It looks really easy, but it isn't because the plastic ring often just bounces off the bottle. I say, that sounds like so much fun. What a great idea. You are so smart, Charles. I wouldn't have thought of that. I know I have the best partner and that we are going to have a fun table. He continues to say that we can have games for the younger children and games that are more advanced. It all sounds so fun. I can't wait to show our teacher. What could we have for prizes? I ask. Well, they can't be your mom's cookies because they will be at the bake sale. But I was thinking perhaps your dad could build us some little prizes. Think about what Charles has said. He has a really grand idea. He has obviously been thinking about it for a while. I know my dad used to make these little wooden cars. It looks simple enough, but we will have to help for sure. I will talk to my dad tonight. He might have some great ideas, and he might be able to help us with the games. We are both very excited. I hope my dad will be excited as well. The bell rings, and it is time to go home. As always, I cannot wait to see Sky and go for a walk. Now I am really excited because I can talk with my dad about the ideas that Charles and I have. It will be really fun if Charles and I can work in my dad's shop. Charles is really going to like that. Since it was his idea, I know that he wants to spend time with my dad. I get home and meet everyone in the backyard. My mom is sitting with my little brother, and Sky Charles is playing with the ball on his own. Hi, Mom, I say. Is it possible that I only eat bananas at home? My mom looks at me and with a smile says, yes, Finnan, you can eat bananas just at home. Then she adds with a wink, at least I don't pack an egg salad sandwich for you. We both laugh because we know the smell of an egg salad sandwich. How was school, Finn? She asks. I say, school was really great. Charles and I have started the Love Day project and we will need Dad's help. I continue to say that Charles doesn't really enjoy being at his house, that his mom won't allow him to go back to the shelter because there are chores to be done. She looks at me and says, just be the best friend you can be and give what you can by the means of a great friendship. I nod my head and call Sky to come for his walk. Sky and I travel our usual route. Fact is, We have to take the same way each day so my mom knows where I am. I'm only allowed to take Sky around the same block every time. We like it because we're starting to know what other houses have a dog in the yard, and we meet the same people as we make our way. I haven't seen the lady from the post office bench, but she has been on my mind. I think to myself, I hope I don't get a letter that makes me cry. We turn the corner just before the post office, and there she is sitting on the bench. I smile at her. She calls out for me. As we approach, she says hello to Sky Charles. She has remembered his name. She's also remembered mine. Finn, she says, I was hoping to see you again, to say thank you for the kindness that you shared with me. I am shy. I start looking at my feet. She says that she had to visit her family because there was a death in the family. She said it was an old aunt that she hadn't seen for years. I say I am sorry for her loss. I'm not sure what to say, but I know my mom says that. One time, my mom and I were in a grocery store. A lady that she knew was telling her that a family member had passed away. I didn't exactly know what that meant at the time, but my mom said that she was sorry for her loss. After the lady left, I asked what she meant. My mom told me that passing away is another term for death. The lady from the bench looks at me once again, says thank you. She starts to tell me that she is sorry she did not spend more time with her aunt. Now she can't even pick up the phone to say hello. I hear my little voice again. Tell her she listens to her heart. I take a deep breath and repeat what I have heard. So you think she can hear my heart, Finn? I say yes, that I am sure hearts can be heard, for I have a knack for listening. She smiles once again and says, You are a very fine young man. Your parents must be proud. I tell her that my great-grandpa had passed away, how he had left a watch to my dad, and how Dad had just given it to me. She looks at me with a puzzled look. Finn, I received a watch from my aunt. When I went home to visit, her daughter gave it to me. I say, I know that if I hold my great-grandfather's watch, I can hear his voice. My dad says it's just my imagination, but it works very well. She smiles and says, I think I'm going to get it repaired and wear the watch each day to hold her close. She would like that, I reply, and I am proud that I am having an adult conversation. She pats Sky on his head, tells him how cute he is. She puts her hand out to me like Melba does. I shake her hand. As she takes my hand, she looks into my eyes and says, Finn, don't ever change. I nod and say thank you. I sense it will be the last time we ever see the lady on the bench. Sky and I continue our way, now rushing a little, for I have to be home at a certain time. When I return home, I don't tell anyone about the lady from the post office bench. It just feels like it was private, and some things are meant for one. Supper is ready, and we all take our seats. Dad, I say in an excited voice, we are doing our Love Day project for the community, and Charles and I would like to ask you for your help to build prizes. I continue to tell my family about what we have planned. My parents think it is a great idea. Even my sister thinks it sounds fun. My sister volunteers to help, and it is determined that all my family, along with Charles, will create something really fun for our community. My dad takes me out to his shop and shows me some plans for the little cars that I was talking about. He also points out that the games can be made, as he had some wood left over from another project. My dad is always building great things, and he was going to build something great for our project. He shows me a game that is like fishing. It is a wooden fishing rod, and on the end of the line it has a magnet. In the game, one holds the rod to pick up items shaped like fish that also have a magnet, and when the two connect, they win the prize marked on the bottom of the fish. My dad says that it looks easy, but it's not. Still, it's easy enough that everyone would be able to win a prize. I like that idea. I don't like that someone has to lose to have another person win. I like when everyone wins. My dad and I look through catalogues of woodworking projects. He says he will let me take them to school to show Charles. We will let Charles choose the games he wants since it was his idea. My dad and I chat and Sky eats a treat. I ask my dad, "Do you have treats for yourself out here?" He smiles because he knows I am hinting. He says, "Well, Finn, you asked the right question because I do have treats here." He gets up, goes over to another bench that has drawers underneath the top. He opens the drawer and pulls out a chocolate bar. Wow, I did ask the right question. He opens the wrapper. Looking at the magazines has just become a lot more fun.